Hello, folks. Welcome to our weekly select board meeting. As usual, we'll start with our town clerk,
Okay,
treasurer,
yes,
voter,
yep.
ID, freedom of information person.
I just wanted to recap the Text My Gov survey information, what we have so far, and just push one more time that if you have not done the survey, please do so. We have one more week with this survey. The information is on our website, our Facebook page. Please do the survey. Just to review, we've gotten 66 responses so far. I kind of looked at the different questions and just kind of looked at the percentages. 75% of the people that took the survey are interested in the two-way texting, that they could send a text message and find out our hours and they would automatically get a response back in that type of situation. 82% of those people would use that system to report issues to the town. 85% would use it to receive notifications from the town office. That would be closures, election information, and meeting information, stuff like that. 86% would use it to report the road concerns. That would be taking a picture and sending it to the road commissioner. 86% would use it for emergency notifications. That would be our GIS-based information. We could circle basically a place on the map. If we needed to just send out notifications to one road, we could do it that way. 76% would use it just to view like our snow closures. 80% would use it to get trash truck information and if there was any delays or breakdowns. And 78% support the funding of the system. So just kind of a little recap on that. There is the last question of the survey allows you to type exactly what you want to say. Some of the recent comments was, it's a great idea. Another was, let's get out of the dark ages and get this system as soon as possible. Another one was, during power outages, there was a concern. It always seems to include no spectrum service and you wouldn't be able to text anyway. Another one was, I know people may balk at spending the ARPA money this way, but the town needs to encourage moving our communication structure forward. I cherish rural living, but emergencies arise in nature, and the sooner they are able to be dealt with, the better the outcomes. And one other one was, email is cheaper and better. I guess we use an email system. And another is, glad to have the system in our town. So you can put what you want at the very last question on the survey. And again, we've got one more week on this. The more feedback we get, the better. So
I'm not sure, are we sure that ARPA funds qualify?
the first year, the setup cost and the first year
Right,
cost.
but then it
would
that's
be a
it.
regular, budget item.
Are you just this, just the setup cost? I don't, because if it's a recurring cost, I don't know that they cover it, like maybe just that initial deposit?
The initial, to build the system, the GIS system, that very first year,
Yep.
he said that it's covered by
Oh,
ARPA.
wow, okay.
That's what he's finding, yep, but every recurring system costs
Mm.
regular, so. I did have a question, because we only have one more week. We're gonna get all these survey results. What are we gonna do after that? Do you wanna take this to town meeting, or, what is your feeling on that, I guess?
If we're gonna use ARPA funds, we have to.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, well, no, we could use other funds, but, yeah.
Could we do a
Well, your
special town
question-
meeting,
your
or do
answer
we have
was-
to
Dave
do
was
it?
correct.
No, it can be any town meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
If we were gonna use ARPA funds, we do need town approval.
yeah.
Right.
But we have other money to fund this, so.
Okay.
Right, but technically, we need to get the ARPA funds approved.
Right.
ARPA funds are not a...
Post.
a Post
Right.
thing,
Right.
yeah. Yeah. Can I just ask a question
Yeah.
or two? So, am I assuming correctly when I say that you would be administering this?
The office,
Your
yes.
office, at
Yeah,
least.
we
Okay.
both have access to it. It would just be like an online data
Yeah.
gathering system, and
Okay.
that way we can manage sending out messages, receiving messages. That's where the pictures would go. Copy of the pictures. If someone was to take a picture of a road concern, it could go directly to Maya, to his cell phone, and also back up in our system.
Okay,
So we would always have kind of a running of what's going on.
good,
So, yeah.
yeah.
And then the company, the Text My Gov guy that we spoke with, what is their role in it? Don't they have a database of
The
numbers?
GIS
Yep.
part, yep.
Is that what
yep.
they do mostly then?
They're gonna do that, and they're also gonna help us get going. They're gonna put in
Okay.
the general questions that a lot of town offices have. They're gonna do our training, and if we have any questions, they're there all the time.
Oh,
so,
nice.
to
Okay.
help us out.
But after the initial setup, they're kind of out of the picture,
No, they're
except,
always there to.
Well, I know they're
it's
always there.
24/7
Yeah.
support, yeah.
yeah, for support,
Yeah,
right.
they won't be building anything, really.
But you
They'll
would be doing all the,
maintaining it.
the
Yep,
updating, okay, and you can change messages and
all the time.
things
yep.
all the time.
Yep,
Sounds good.
Yep,
yep,
yep.
something to think about.
Is there any other way we can get more people to participate?
In the survey,
Yeah.
Tell your friends, Ed.
we did.
Well, I mean, this is like, I just tried to do a rough number. This is about 8%
Uh-huh,
I
of our
did
people.
check in with the Text My Gov, and he said, how's your survey going? And I told him what we had for involvement. He says, that's impressive.
yeah,
What, I
That's
think
actually really impressive for a
Yeah.
survey.
4% is a good average on these types of things.
Yeah.
So we're at 8, I mean, that's good, but
Yep.
the more the better, or the more
Yeah.
information we
Well, you
get.
also gotta think of too, you're getting a lot more responses than you would at town meeting.
right.
So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, think of town
Think
meeting.
about it, right?
Yeah,
Any meeting.
So there is a ad in the Shopper's Guide that pushed this as well,
Okay,
just
good.
this week,
All right.
so it's out there for people.
Super.
All right, so the survey will be taken down Tuesday, May 14th. If you haven't done it yet, please do it.
yes.
Okay. Reserve accounts, we had a nice meeting during the workshop, and I'll work with Debbie to make those transfers, and we should be in really good shape. I do have the one sheet and made some adjustments based on our conversation, if you guys wanna, sign off, and I'll do the transfers.
Excellent.
Well, okay.
Or if we can table it again.
No, no, no,
Up to
no.
you.
Right.
No.
Did you hear back from the auditor?
No, I did not, but I
Okay.
feel they're not in the office for some
Okay.
reason.
I also have a request in, through our warrant request, payment for the 2017-2018 plumbing permits and 2018-2019 permits. So those checks will go out with a big packet of plumbing permits. Eric Frey will be back next week, and we'll get hopefully 2 more packages ready and keep shipping them, so.
Excellent.
We're in good shape there. Just some reminders, the school budget vote is Tuesday, May 14th. The polls are open from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Our free food pickup is Thursday, May 16th, 3 to 4. The office will be closed Thursday for Memorial. That is in the shopper's guide, and it will run again. It just so happens that is the day that we have our off-site inland fish training in North Berwick. So the town office will be closed Thursday, May 23rd for that training. And will also be closed Monday, May 27th for Memorial Day. Just to think ahead a little bit, nomination papers are going to be available June 3rd for the municipal election. And just to, I know you guys are working really hard on Elijah Fox and Piper Free. It would kind of be nice to have some information when those nomination papers go out, so people understand what those openings are entail, so.
So put that on the nomination papers, maybe?
No,
But
for
just like
town
an
report.
information sheet,
Yeah, oh,
Right.
oh, I see, you're talking
Yeah.
about.
She's
I'll put
Okay.
something on the website that just
yeah,
highlights the,
because we have quite a few spots to fill for Elijah Fox and Piper Free boards.
Right.
And people really, don't understand what they are and what they're supposed to do if
Oh,
they're on the board.
We
So
know, right.
we could have something.
Like a
there.
job description almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And Tuesday, June 11th, will be the state primary election from 8 to 8. Other than that,
Got my calendar.
follow-up issues are there, and tax collection updates are at the bottom. 94.4% have been collected on 2023 tax payments, and 97.9% for 2022s.
Can I make a comment on the follow-up issue,
Yeah.
cemetery funds for private cemeteries?
Yep.
Oh, for private cemeteries needing repair?
Yep.
Okay, actually, I was gonna just say that the cemetery on the corner of North Road and Merrill Hill is in need of new railings, and one of the, graves has collapsed. So, and that, before they can start taking care of it again, it has to be, well, you probably saw it too, Jeff, there's a big hole where that has to be filled in so that they can get in there to mow,
Yep.
so, but we'll see what we can do.
So.
Yeah, it's not really a private cemetery, so.
No,
No,
that's town
nope.
cemetery.
Okay,
So is that gonna get scheduled to fill in,
at some point,
Yep.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll figure it out,
or? Okay.
yeah.
Is it roped off?
There's a stake near it, but it's not roped off.
In case someone wants to join the
It's
person
just-
in the grave.
It's a little scary.
All right, thank you again, Ray.
Yep.
We're in the process of signing the invoices, and approving the checks that go out, and we've approved the minutes of last week and the agenda for this week. We have no ads to review, except the one that Danielle placed concerning the survey. We'd like to, people read that and give us some input. If you don't give us input, you can't complain about the results. All our monthly reports have been submitted with the exception of the code enforcement officer. Comprehensive committee meeting on May 14th at 6 o'clock. That's probably the next to last meeting, Danielle, you think?
Jen?
Not Danielle, Jen.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you.
No, I'm not gonna say
Talking
it's
to
the
you.
next to the last meeting.
You think there's gonna be a couple more?
Yeah, I think we're working on slides for the public presentation, so those
Okay.
kind of have to be cut down to a reasonable length, and then final, we have a draft, so a
Okay.
couple more.
Dave, anything on solar?
Nope.
Okay. That was quick.
Yep.
We received the monthly report from Rescue. We've made some adjustments in transferring dollars from the comprehensive fund back into the general fund. It leaves the comprehensive fund with about $400 or $500, something like that.
Yeah, 309 plus interest, whatever that
Okay.
will be, so.
So. Keesa Falls Library is looking for a rolling bulletin board. They're trying not to spend any money, so anyone that knows of a rolling bulletin board out there, they'd like a cork board, probably something like 3 by 5 or whatever the standard size is.
They
4
said
by 6.
4 by 6.
4
Yeah.
by 6, thank
Yep.
you. No, that was a foot shot each way. We have a resident, Dwayne?
Yes.
I thought I recognized you. Dwayne Cross, who lives on North Road, would like to discuss some traffic concerns. Dwayne, if you want to come up and
The concerns with the commercial cattle and cattle farming and composite extensive agricultural activity going on As we know, this area is zoned residential. Did a lot of research, it's not farmland, wetland, or anything above, it has not changed residential for quite a period of time. Mr. Fisher believes, because he bought a home that said 18 Hill Farm, Academy Hill Farm, he bought a farm smack in the middle of the residential neighborhood and decided to convert that property. We put on proper notice 7 years ago in town meeting by myself personally, as a licensed real estate individual, that he did not buy commercial property and not attempt to do commercial activity because as a butter, it will never fly. A sidewalk did fail. I have letters and evidence, they reviewed it for me. Two others, which is significant enough, three-party concerns. The Waldron, Richard and Sherry Waldron letters in my example were highly concerned from day one and still concerned. I re-spoke to them, evidence and legislative evidence I'll present to you, which indicates they're distraught in thinking that a commercial property with dug wells could allow this type of activity to go on our water edifers that we drink water from, and no concern, no regard from it, no state surveys. And again, I spoke over an hour. I think Mr. Bowden might have been present at the time. Mrs. McPatrick, God bless, passed, my first grade teacher sat beside of me, and they were against it as well. I have been against it. A parliament language, respect with all parties, a shit farm doesn't belong beside of a partially recognized monument in this town. It's a seminary. It's a recognized. I used to walk to school and see Lucy game. Now you can't. It's decimated. It's a Hamas. They've gone against every zoning law that I went to school for, and I'm licensed in the state of Florida as a broker, that every single law never applied. The last I had a conversation with law was that J.P. Espinosa was over bowling alley. Last year he sat and talked and informed me that the permit was never allocated, and if it was for a very, very limited basis, and the reason the process stopped, because when I left to go to Florida in October of 17, which the record will display, I thought that deal was dead, done, gone. He forgot about it, moved on. He felt strongly found, well, I can farm and do something. No, you can't. Well, he's been allowed to do it because no one's enforced it. I've gone all the way to Senator Libby's office. I spoke to the Department of Agriculture. I spoke to DOT. This morning, God strike me dead, I've had 40 commercial deliveries carrying in excess of 20 tons go by my. I'm in the middle of their cattle farm regrouping. They own across the street and behind the street. They've decided to creatively go back in under South River and start hauling aggregate out of there. They're hauling aggregate extensively out of the 450 road. They've hidden cattle, which my drones have picked up, and by the way, I have drone footage, which I supplied to the zone officer, indicating they've stashed 20 or 30 cattle, which I'm concerned with disease. I'm very health conscious at my age and as a retired vet. So we got cattle, which isn't anywhere zoned here. We got commercial aggregate soil removal, extraction. Right now, less than 15 minutes ago, an old green truck of theirs came by totally packed and hauling it totally packed. They couldn't stop if they wanted to. They've almost run me off 3 times in the course of 7 years. The last one I filed a report with the DOT. They're dangerous. I can't ride my e-bike, and it's not safe here. And I have enough evidence, but I'm not the only party concerned. I have enough butters that we should quash this. Stop all commercial activity until they get in front of it and have a proper review and cease this commercial activity on an aggressive level. Senator Libby's office is asking for the town to support and step up and support me with all legal justifications. His permits are even, if it supposedly permits or application, let's say it was valid, it's not even accurate. It indicates a 255 acre request. They're pulling out from across the street and below me. They own almost 400 acres. So their request, invalid as well, which most documents they supplied are null, void, inaccurate, or just erroneous. They indicated they're plotting only 255 acres. Wrong answer. You're working below me. It's all been leveled and destroyed. And you're working on the other side of the street hauling aggregate out of there. So even if your permit was right, you're going to say, oh, but by the way, Cross, you're going to set right in the middle of our new farming cattle zone. How do you like that? I don't like it at all. Because we're in modern times. This isn't the 1800s. I've done research, and I wish it was the Amish, because they only operate on the buggies and chairs. It'd be not an issue. Come by a couple times a day with your buggy, go ahead. But being woken up 6 days a week, the only day of rest I get is Sunday, because that's their day of rest, isn't fair to me. From 6 in the morning till 9 at night, they haul thousands, I repeat, thousands of yards. I've got trail cameras I set up with footage supplied to the code enforcement officer. Jesse's a nice guy, but he's not enforcing. The reason I know that is I can look in your activity of what the town's gone in for special zoning. And I'd say the same thing if he was here. The permit application for special things like this, which I never would have passed, because between myself, Sear, and Waldron's, it's done. It's nixed on any legal aspect if brought in by butters or an issue. Because one of the criteria of it was butters 500 feet, need to come in concurrent. No one's in concurrent with nothing of these. A couple are the Parkhurst and I think Neil Bishop, maybe 2 or 3 of them that don't really care. They don't work, they never work. They're just along for the ride. Okay, good, bad, or indifferent. I want to retire their beasts. I don't need a commercial cattle farm. I don't want it. I'm a retired U.S. veteran. I went to college, I'm educated. My family's very educated. FYI, God bless Joseph and Rita Cross. They produce more college graduates out of that household than any household in SAD 55.
Can we
Okay.
stick to the facts, though?
Well, let's stick to those.
That's wonderful.
That's facts, let's stick
Has
to it.
nothing to do with anything.
Well, comparison, it doesn't produce result of what we're having here. Nobody's doing nothing about anything. They believe they're homeschooled. They're a cult with their own religion and their own ethics. That's the fact.
So
And if you
that
ask me what a
has
cult
nothing to do
is,
with your
Yeah,
issue.
let's go back to
Pardon?
what you,
That has nothing to do with your issue.
what is it? They neglect all real estate laws and all
Well,
laws.
but the fact that they're homeschooled and all this has nothing to do with your issue of they're disturbing you in effect. And
Well, they're
causing
just
problems.
violating the law. It's not a zone, it's not a commercial, it's not anywhere near it. I've seen no permits that hold any validity that are even accurate in any aspect. So even if the permit was granted, I guess in a court of law, it needs to be null and voided. Now, unfortunately, the town's indemnified. So you guys can stand behind it, do nothing, and I can't do anything legally.
Can you leave us a copy of your,
Oh, you have it, I was just giving it to your office.
Okay.
My concern, and I'll just recapture, is that butters that do not want it in writing and haven't wanted it since 17, and more than one. It's just not myself, okay? But yes, I'm getting upset day and night, and the only day I have rest is their religious day, for the record. Please.
oh, all right, thanks.
you saw Senator Libby this morning. He
Yeah.
came in and, one of the things we can do is put down the DOT counters to, check out the class of vehicles that are coming through.
Yeah, I had asked for that and coordinated and I actually contacted the proper parties, let Jesse know, the code enforcement. Let me know how that fiasco materialized.
They can't do it unless the select board okays it. And
Okay.
we have to be the ones to
All right, well,
put it down.
let me tell you the process, what happened respectfully, went on. I contacted Aaron, was his first name, last name. Spoke to him, had a great conversation, indicated what problem was being weight limits. And he said, I said, like to schedule, I'm in Florida right now, can we schedule it for next spring? I know they would be doing heavy traffic loads, and they did. And he said, what period? I said, May 1st. I said, he said, Jesse, I said, inform Jesse, inform Senator Libby's office. No one informed nobody. It got left in limbo. Appointment was set to have the counter come out. They dropped the ball, didn't communicate with anyone, and then later I pick it up 2 or 3 days later saying, no, we can't do that. I said, am I missing something here? I had an appointment with you, and I spoke to him, and I spoke to his supervisor, and supposedly he shouldn't have been doing it. But yeah, the counter should be out, and unfortunately, if it had been out in May 1st, there would have been, today is the 7th, there would have been over 150 to 200 truckloads exceeding weight limits, just in this week alone. There's been over 300 commercial drive-bys. And so we're not talking me sitting in front of you because once in a while a truck comes by. We're not talking about once in a while maybe a Amish horse and pony come by. They're not going to build whatever they're building there on my rest and my right to enjoy safety and well-being here in America. It's not fair, it's not legal, it's not right.
Okay, well, can we say a couple of things? First of all, we are gonna request the counters. I don't know how long that will take, but they're not gonna stop delivering because it's May 7th, so. that
Who's going to
activity-
stop delivering?
Fishers.
I'll let you finish, please.
Okay. All I'm saying is, no, they weren't out May 1st, but they're not gonna stop delivering on May 7th. So they'll keep delivering, we'll get counts,
Okay.
okay?
Why would they do that when if you review the permit, Dave, and you do what you look into here, they have no permit to deliver anything. There's no commercial resale of that aggregate for any reason. So please read the permit and void the permit and stop the traffic tomorrow. Don't wait for aggregate counters. They're in violation of it. Read the documents, read the black and white. As you say, don't get personal with it. Don't, read the evidence. Please do what you're supposed to do and cease the activity. End the story.
Okay.
There really is.
First of all, we don't have that authority.
You
This
do as
board-
the town.
This board does not have that
But
authority.
who does?
The planning board and the code enforcement officer. Okay, so we will look at the documentation and go from there.
Well, I want to go on record, respectfully, the permits I've examined are null, void, and unauthorized commercial activity, both cattle and farming.
Yep. we
So
got that.
you're on notice that all these violations exist. What you do with them, and again, not even a comment, I know what to do legally in America, and my next move is a legal move, and Senator Libby's office is aware of it, and I'll go through his office. But no, I've done everything by the book. Legal, plan on it being legal, but this has to stop. I bother no one. I don't want to be bothered. That's all I ask. Okay, is that a fair enough request?
Fair enough.
Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep,
I
thank
didn't
you.
leave a pair of glasses.
I'm not sure, you have to check it.
I checked it.
I didn't see it.
That's why I lose 2 or 3 pair a week. That's the problem. I got excited because you told me I could, Jen showed me I could be with one. I said, wow, I'm finally going to meet with somebody after all these years. So I ended up losing a pair, but I have $10 throwaways, and that's why I have them. Used to have nice pairs, lost too many. I said, the only way to solve that is buy $10 pairs, and I know I'm going to lose them on the next day.
Take care.
Be well.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
thanks. All right, so that package,
Yes,
is that something that we have gotten?
I don't know, this is the first I've seen it.
That is probably, he was looking at the files at 4 o'clock that we had available. I'm guessing those are copies, but we'll make sure. That's
Okay.
where he would have gotten it.
Okay.
For the
All right,
file
So we
that-
need to make sure that we get whatever it is that he left.
Right, we'll make a copy of
Yeah,
And that's it right there.
for everybody, right, it's right here.
yeah, okay.
Go down, I'll sit around.
And we'll proceed with the counting as we,
Does that work for you? That, we'll do that, okay?
Yeah.
the discussion, absolutely,
Yep, all
get
right,
the counters.
I can take care of that. I can get
Okay.
hold of DOT and,
People have to realize, though, maybe he does, that just because a heavy truck goes by, doesn't mean it's a Fisher heavy truck.
right,
Could be a logging, could be anything,
could be anything.
so.
Can I see that packet, just to make sure that's where he got it from?
Oh, I don't know, this is kind of confidential, secret
Oh, we got
information.
the,
I do know that some of the letters he was talking about were from 2017, so that was 7 years ago.
Right,
So,
yeah.
some of the stuff isn't ours, so.
Okay,
all right, so I think we've got through the traffic counter.
Saco River gave us information on a septic replacement system. And a person that wants to build a covered entry porch. Senator Libby did stop in this morning around 10 o'clock, talked to Jen and David, and dropped off his newsletter of all the things that are happening in Augusta. We received, if you remember, if you've been listening to our wonderful show, you remember we've been discussing New Hampshire's plowing of Route 153 up by Province Lake. Well, we finally received a bill. It's been reduced from about 25,000 down to about 10,000, but that's will be Parsonsfield's share of maintaining or plowing Route 153 for about 2 miles right in front of Province Lake. Road Commissioner has not gotten back. Debbie, you haven't heard from Meyer about. Obviously, we're still incurring costs from the last storm. If you see all the debris along the side of the highway, two people are picking it up and depositing it. If anyone wants to bring their own, we mentioned last week, they can bring it to,
Salt sheds, they had I didn't see the brush pile on Secocas.
no, there's not, it's the other salt shed, Merrillville.
Yeah, South Road, I mean, the South Salt shed.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you want to bring it over there, there's a big pile of brush, if you care to do it. If not, the town will be working its way around. Remembering we have 80 miles of roads and 2 people.
I think Ron's working now, so I think there are 3 people now.
Yeah, there's been a few contractors.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Just a few administrative notes before Jen and Dave get into the cannabis. One of them does.
What's he saying?
School budget votes on May 14th, 3 to 8. Don't forget your bulky waste pickup. I know a couple of people have been concerned about that. June 14th and 28th, bulky waste and white goods. And the tire drop-offs in October. Jen, do you have any? I know we work on cannabis and whatever.
Yeah, we're still working on ordinances, and we'll have a workshop next week on that, and we'll have some more questions for our attorney that we'll find out this week. So, you know, we're moving forward with it. There's an effort by our SAD 55 community to have a better effort when it comes to storm response. I just wanted to let people know that I'm working on that with some other towns and the EMAs and the rescue people and the fire people on how to handle a storm like we had on April 4th. So, you know, the Text My Gov would come in handy, the radios, the like shortwave radios that the rescue has. We may be able to get one here in the town for use that we can keep in touch with also when people don't have the ability to call or text. So that's something that we're working on. And
Is the Red Cross still in play as far as helping us out, making this into a emergency center?
they can be. They will be part of what we are getting in touch with and using as a resource when it comes to setting up a shelter.
Okay.
Yep. They're part of it along with the York County EMA and Oxford County EMA and Cumberland County EMA, so it's a work in progress. Let's see, what, I think that's it besides the cemetery issue. And, oh, something I do want to mention, I know we talked about it in terms of our IT specialist, but we really need to be on top of getting monitors and security cameras in the offices, I think, in this day and age.
Yeah, it's
We-
in work.
It's in the works, we know it, it's just a follow-up issue that I feel strongly about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dave, you mentioned you had nothing, but did you pick up something? Or?
Nope, my mind is blank. The slate has nothing on it.
Well, I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, I don't either.
Alrighty, thanks, Dave. Jeff, you're sitting patiently, you?
I can speak up. Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff, get up here.
All right.
Well,
time?
that negates the use of my remote.
Okay, I'll make it really quick. East Parsonsfield, you mentioned the traffic study, so I'm just mentioning East Parsonsfield. We should have a portable speed limit sign that we have.
Yes.
There's one in the village of East Parsonsfield. We've had it on Main Street.
We've had it by Walker
Walker
Chevrolet.
Chevrolet.
Right.
We had it by Harvey's house
Right.
on Elm Street. Maybe it's time to bring it down to East Parsonsfield in that village. Because that speed limit drops down and there's a lot of people that don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, good
They do,
point.
you're right about
And East
that.
Parsonsfield is part of Parsonsfield.
Yep,
Harvey did say that he was gonna take it back down
to Walker.
to
but
Walker's.
Yeah,
can
all
take
right,
it.
well, we can put it there for a while and then,
I have Walker's 2 years.
yeah.
Yeah, it's there a lot.
East Parsonsfield, we need to share this
Yep.
thing. And maybe the next time we can put it in front of the town hall. Okay, there is a dead tree, I put a ribbon around it at the cemetery, a dead maple that's hanging over the parking lot.
Which,
By the town hall,
okay.
the old town hall, a dead maple tree. There's a ribbon around it. And then we still got the issues of dead trees at the Merrill Hill and North Road
Yeah.
that I taped off 2 years ago. There is a cover law, since we were talking about, there was talking about trucks and stuff, there is a cover law, so if these trucks aren't covered, that, you know, if they're hauling gravel, there is a cover.
I couldn't hear what you said.
There's a cover law.
Oh, okay,
Which we
okay.
don't enforce, but
Okay.
there is a cover law.
Uh-huh.
Which some truckers follow and some don't.
I'd say 99% don't.
Well, I'd be a little more generous, but okay.
I got a good view from my window. Mentioned something about the cameras and stuff. Is it possible to get like a police scanner for the town hall?
We just got our radio fixed, so we can hear what's going on. I don't know if that works. Can we go out with that? Or is that
No,
just
it's just a
listening in?
scanner.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a scanner. Yeah, if you had a police and fire and rescue, then the town would know right away. Rescue reports, can they be like printed out and put on a bulletin board so people can come in?
They're in the,
They're in.
they're posted.
Are they?
Posted.
Website.
Yeah, I think it's-
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just thinking like a bulletin board thing. Okay, that's all for now. Well, that's it. I don't.
I just want to thank you, Jeff, for picking up the brush in the cemetery. You
Yeah.
saved us $400. So,
Oh, that's good.
yep.
Yeah,
I
thank
just
you
want to
very
thank you.
much.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah.
But I only cleaned up most of the storm damage and stuff. There's stuff that was there for 100 years that I didn't touch.
Right,
yeah.
right.
But,
Yeah. Is the pile that's on the North and Merrill Hill Cemetery, there's a pile that's on the North Road side? Is
Yeah.
that what you took out of it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I get that. I'm gonna get that for damage assessment. So I
Yep.
did take that picture. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you did it and not the state, so.
No,
Okay.
no, the state. And speaking about the state, they're pushing the sand off 160 again, which goes into the ditch, which fills up the ditch, and then they gotta come back and dig it out. But in town, they pick it up, and in the country, they just push it back into the ditching. So it's just a constant battle every year.
Yep,
Uh-huh.
yep.
It's a Groundhog Day.
That's right.
All right, that's it.
Keeps coming back. All right, thanks.
Ed, I got something on you. Don't close out. There's some comments on here.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Okay, ready?
yeah.
Ready?
Okay. The white dogs. Did
Yes.
you get some information from Ricky? Our ACO? on
Oh, yes,
the-
yeah, we
those
did want
dogs
to,
we had in the
right.
office?
Yep, there's been comments, I guess, made on Facebook that kind of cast our ACO, our animal control officer, in not a very good light because there's been a continual incidence of some white dogs being neglected. Well, because it's a state law that because we know who the owners are, Rick has to return them to that owner. So that, I just wanted to mention that to people who are, out there saying things that they think we should be doing that we can't because it's a state law. We know the owner, the dogs go back to him.
Yeah, unless there's any abuse that's obvious, which is a whole nother story.
Right.
But in this case, there isn't.
Right.
And he did call the state again. when
He
was
did.
Here.
Yep.
So he just double checked.
Yep.
So, yep.
Okay.
He's doing everything he can.
He is, right.
That was it?
Sure.
Yes, thank you. That was.
Okay. Yep, thanks for
that
reminding me,
was
Danielle. I meant to put that on my
a
list.
question.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a question. It's
Yep.
a lot of comments, but that was a question.
okay.
Thank the person somehow that this is what we want. We want
Yep.
people, if they don't understand something or think something should be expanded or developed or
Yep.
what are you guys doing? This is the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're really concerned, they can come in like Jeff and sit down and express their views.
There
Or
is
just
a-
email us, just let us know.
Yeah.
I mean, one way or another.
There is one comment I do want to address about the reports on the website. I do need to get caught up on the reports. so it just takes time and it's been busy, so no excuse, I will get to it.
All right, we try and have all these reports, the
Try,
special
yeah.
reports, on the website, and then at the end of the year, town meeting, that's when we get the little booklet that has all the reports and a summary of what's happened for the year, so. All righty. Thank you, folks.